It's not what's in it that's inappropriate, but it's what's happening behind the scenes that you just know is happening that may be. We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing The Teacher by Frieda McFadden. Let's get into it. If you've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's gonna go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, star rating, would I recommend it, my own personal opinion. But then we get into the Christian review, and that's where we go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. I give far more caveats and any more information you may need at the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist. Also, it's here somewhere. However, if you're still here, I also want to remind you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books. They are also telling us when you do those things that you like these Christian reviews and that you want them to stick around. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Now let's go ahead and get into my regular review. The Teacher by Frieda McFadden had long since been told to me that it was like a very gross story. And a lot of people love this book despite the grossness. So I was very interested to see what it was all about, and it's not gross in the way that I'm used to a book being gross. I think that there's an awareness of how these characters are behaving that's inappropriate. And I'm not gonna spoil it or give it away, but I'll just tell you that, you know, if you read the cover, you'll probably guess what's going on in the storyline. However, a majority of the story doesn't even really deal with the gross thing. It just deals with the character development and kind of how they're being called out and the suspense of what's gonna happen and who's the bad guy, etc. I loved the suspense aspect of this book. This is a very well done Frieda book where it like fast paced, keeps you engaged. You wanna know what's going on. However, it's also one of her longer books. Not long by any stretch, but it's just a longer book for her. And that result ended up feeling like it drug on a little bit more than some of her other books that are quick, easy, fast-paced, and keep you guessing till the very last page. What is unique about this book is how much the ending just kept twisting and turning until you didn't know what direction you started in. It really did have you guessing and questioning and learning new information until the very last page. I did enjoy myself in this book, as I do with most Frieda books, and ultimately rated it 4 stars. I want to remind you that you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you're wanting more of my day-to-day life reading journey, you can follow me there. I'm also on Goodreads, and I update that every single day with what I'm reading and rating. So go ahead and check that out down below in the description box as well. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category is spice or smut, and that's because it's popular, and there really isn't any in this book. And that's surprising, especially considering the topic, but I'm also very glad that it wasn't in here because I think if it was, I would have very big problems with this book. The second category is explicit language, and no, there really is none. The third category is violence or gore because this is a thriller, and there is some gore. It's not extensive. Honestly, in my experience, Frieda doesn't really write extensive gore. Every once in a while, a book of hers will have more, but this one is pretty minimal. The last thing I'll say is if you didn't guess it in any of the other things that I said, or you have not heard about this book before, I'm just gonna give a minor spoiler warning. It does deal with like younger kids and an older teacher. And so that dynamic experience is maybe inappropriate to some, or maybe something that some people wouldn't want to read about. And that's the only reason why I want to caution you in case that's something that's inappropriate for you. The age range would probably be something like 18 and up. Again, only because of some of the topics discussed in this book. I don't think that there's anything explicitly stated in a way that maybe would be inappropriate for younger. However, I know that my high schooler, I would prefer they wouldn't pick up this book. As a real quick reminder, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, plus me and my mom's podcast, The Journey We Share. And just reminding you that it's because we need to know that these videos are doing the best for you so that we can keep putting them out there. Thanks so much, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.